Hello everyone, we should be live now. Welcome to the channel. It's Rad, and a little bit of a change over the scenery today. I'm at my parents' home. So with that said, today's topic, that is the new moon in Virgo, which is going to be in activation. The moon is setting into Virgo into the 27th at 4:17 a.m. That's in Eastern Standard Time, and it becomes full, which means that exits that stage and that energy at the 10th of September, 5:59 a.m. That's again Eastern Standard. So pretty much the readings that I'm going to do today, they are going to influence you, or they're going to show the influence over you, your star sign, moon, sun, and also rising, pretty much from the morning of the 27th, which is tomorrow for you, my fellow Americans, and up until the morning of the 10th of September. So pretty much as this is cleared out. Hello everyone. Welcome to the channel. Ella, Shanna, Jen, and as well Charlie and Liz. Let's not forget Liz as well. So with that said, it's about 13 days that these readings are going to influence us. And if you had paid attention, as every time, to the thumbnail, you can see there the collective reading, which is pre-drawn, because I need some materials to do a thumbnail with and to show tarot cards there. So the cards for the collective, I do have them right in my hand, are as follow. The first one, that is going to be the Nine of Pentacles. The second card we do have, this is going to be the Five of Wands. Moving on with the third card for this new moon in Virgo, we do have the Ten of Pentacles. The fourth card for this transit is going to be the Five of Cups, and the final card for the transit, we do have the Death card. So these five cards, and right away when I drew them, it's kind of like they are showing a message which a lot of us can use of, or can make a use of. So to speak, in the simple message, guys, of these cards is that within the next 13 days, we all, whomever of us is needed, though, are going to learn not to give up. It's a pretty big implication, so to speak, from these tarot cards into that message. What I mean with this is some of us are going to learn not to give up hope. Others are going to learn not to give up their career, or their romantic life, even whatever is inconvenient, right away inconvenient, even a little bit more disappointing, but still it is, we do cling into it in a sense of that there is a certain value into it. We see the value, but it's a hassle to get it. We are going to learn that everything good comes with an effort. Well, sometimes it's gifted, but not this time around, and that we should not give up. Actually, it's so that it is needed for us to pretty much scope the big fish, to strike up the big deal, and so on and so forth. So for example, if your client right now is giving you a hard time, all you got to do is just not give up, and eventually, at least if we do apply those cards to that situation, our client is going to sign up. Now there is a small concern within this reading, and that comes with the Five of Wands here into the second position of the spread. Okay, and it is a small concern because the worries and disappointments that we may face throughout these 13 days are actually going to be unpredictable for some of us, or rather, like, for most of us. These disappointments, setbacks, let's name them setbacks, are going to show up from places probably we have least expected. It just is going to be very, very surprising, and we are going to be consider it as a turnaround right away. You, for example, had someone that you work closely with that considered as a very loyal, friendly, and that they are never going to abandon you, but suddenly, you know, something shows up into their life and they prioritize it, and you just can't believe that, right? Because up until this point, everything that they talked about was work, but not any longer. So it will be a natural transition, but yet very, very surprising for you, for me, and for anyone. Another thing, which is, by the way, a guidance, it's an advice from these cards as a collective, it is that these next 13 days, it will be best if we strive to get as less dependent as we can be. For example, if we do owe money to somebody or to the bank, to extinguish that debt for as much as we can, that will be very, very beneficial. Also, that is just one example of dependency. You know, you may be dependent of somebody, like you recently broke up with your girlfriend or with your boyfriend, and you're still dependent on that relationship. Next 13 days are going to be very beneficial. You exercising to get out of that dependency, get to know new people, start doing things you personally love rather than things you both loved, and so on and so forth. Another thing from these cards as a guidance, it is that it's going to be best if we do try to how do you call it in English? Catch up with, I believe. To catch up with certain people from our past, okay? Catch up with old friends, catch up with old relatives, and so on and so on and so forth. And nothing literally is decided entering into these next 13 days. So if right now you are finding yourself at the rock bottom, as we do have the death card here into the final position of the spread, which is what helps us, right? This is the support of the universe. It's the transition, it's pretty much the change into the circumstances that are gonna allow us to bring things on their feet, so to speak. And that's pretty much for the most part the collective reading. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, Taco, for hearing that. So at the end of the day, you decided to go to get yourself checked out. I'm so glad for it. Ella, thank you so much for your 1999 US dollar support, which comes with an inquiry. Okay, Ella, that's a fair question, but I cannot tell you if you are gonna go, because that's a decision you gotta make, and by my professional courtesy, I'm bound not to make decisions for you, okay? That's something that I will never do. So instead, I am gonna tell you, or I'm gonna use the cards to tell you what your experience is going to be if you decide to go to travel, and that way you can decide by yourself. By the way, Taco, is it serious? I mean, when you get yourself checked into the hospital, is it really, really serious based on your tests? All right, done. Hello, Kara. All right, guys, so that's is the collective reading, and now I'm moving into the star sign reading. So let me explain you, for all that are new and people who are going to watch the live stream after are new to the channel, how these live streams are going to be performed. So within the live stream, there are going to be 12 readings, one for each star sign, for convenient purposes, I'm starting from Aries all the way up to Pisces. And by the way, you can pretty much watch the icon, or rather like the star sign being displayed right over there, into this space here, into this void, for what star sign I am talking about. And there are also going to be breaks within the live stream. Within these breaks, I'm going to give you guys chance to get a free reading with me, and all that you got to do in order to qualify for that, just input a question into the comments down below, but that question needs to be inputted into the breaks. Okay, no questions before the break announcement. It's going to be taken under consideration. And furthermore, the booking for the Lenormand, Legrand, Tableau, and as well the monthly readings for September is almost over. If you want to catch up the last train here, it is open up until the Sunday, the end of Sunday. So it's something you may want to take advantage of. This is exclusive only for the YouTube audience, and I believe you can see details into the description of the stream. Other than that, if you do wish a personal reading with me, you can always go to my website and purchase one. And finally, anyone who supports the channel and the stream through super chat, you guys are gonna get a reading at the end of it. That's pretty much given. Should your super chat be above $20, 20 or above dollars, and has no inquiry attached to it, I am just gonna do this 5-card spread that I'm doing for the star signs, for you, personalized for you, and what experience you're gonna have throughout the the new moon into Virgo. And Taco, thank you so much for your 22 US dollars. Thank you, Taco. Okay, so you need an important message. All right, make sure that you do stick around up until the end of the live stream, where you're gonna get your message from the cards. Right. And so with that said, first comes first, Aries. Here it is the star sign symbol. Let me shuffle and see what Aries are going to go through into the next 13 days. By the way, guys, if you are wondering where Pisces Moonbeam is, she does have a bit of an emergency, and probably she's not going to be with us tonight. But she may jump in at some point, but it is just for, as far as I know, she's not at home right now. So I hope that it's something personal, but there's not, how can I put it into words? It's not threatening to her, directly to her. Okay, it's just within the family. Mattia, thank you so much for your 1999. Thank you, Mattia. Make sure that you do stick around up until the end of the stream, where you are gonna get your personalized reading for the new moon into Virgo. What in the world? Hold on a second. Right. So yeah, although she does have an emergency, it's she's not in any danger whatsoever, just so you know. All right, so for Aries, the first card, hold on a second. So the first card for Aries, this is going to be the Nine of Pentacles, followed by the same, by the second card of the Five of Cups. Moving on, next we do have the Nine of Wands. Then the fourth card for Aries, this is going to be the Five of Swords. Okay. And the final one for Aries, this is going to be pretty much the Fool. card. So the message for you Aries who are moon, sun, and as well rising sign. By the way, there is a difference what kind of a star sign you are, and I'm going to say it right now so I don't repeat myself throughout the whole stream. So if you are Aries moon, these cards are applying to your feelings and emotions, how you're going to feel throughout the next 13 days. Should you be Aries rising, then these cards are going to refer to how you are addressing the exterior world, or in other words, what kind of things are going to happen to you. While if you are Aries sun, then these cards are going to refer to your personality, what kind of a mood you are going to have, and how you are going to be influenced by certain things. And that way you will be able to pretty much, if you listen to your sun, moon, and rising sign, you will be able to pretty much assemble the whole picture, because it may be a great opportunity shown into your rising sign, but if the moon sign shows that you're going to feel bad about it, it could be an opportunity you don't want to see, or maybe is in the wrong place, and so on and so forth. So with that said, for Aries, actually, this is going to be quite beneficial transit next 13 days. What the guidance of this card is, especially coming here from the Nine of Wands, okay? From the Nine of Wands, it is that you guys can clear out a lot of, let's put it that way, unnecessary stuff, in a sense of that stuff that are just occupying your time, or they're occupying your attention, and so on and so forth. And once you do so, once you do clear out that pretty much space, like people that you don't need to have around you, stuff that you don't need to have around you, chores that you don't need to have around you, just needless occupations, so to speak, then you are to see that you do actually have a lot of resources. Now, the only problem that you may find throughout the next couple of weeks, though, it is where actually to place those resources. If you accumulated a lot of time, which is a resource, you may find it a little bit difficult to or rather, like you may come to realize that it's a little bit difficult for you to find something that worth your time. Okay, same thing if you accumulate a little bit more money, because you could lose some unnecessary expenses that you are doing things that you don't need anymore. You know, you may kind of like find it very difficult to actually establish something that worth your money, like a subscription, and so on and so on and so forth. And pretty much the next couple of weeks are revolving around a trustworthy endeavors. What I mean is that things which are not just not to be around you just because you need them, just because you can have them, but things to be around you because you need them. Because at the end of the day, the topic of your thank you, Sue. So at the end of the day, the topic of your next couple of weeks is to have a return. We have the Nine of Pentacles at the start of the reading, and that is when you actually make a really good profit of what you are doing. Not necessarily marginal profit, right? Not necessarily a monetary profit, but any kind of profit. You invest your time into something, and you consider that a worthwhile investment. You invest your love into something, still at the end of the day you do consider that to be your worthwhile, because eventually something is going to show up within the next 13 days. I mean, we do have the Fool card here into the last position. That is the help of the universe position. That is what kind of the helping energy of the universe, all right? And the Fool shows enterprises for you, Aries. It is like there are going to be always something new for you to do. But again, think about it. If you are finding yourself being occupied with unnecessary chores, unnecessary expenses, how you are to have the resources. Well, there are people with unlimited resources, especially when it comes to monetary. But what if it is time? You have only 24 hours a day, and 8 of them you gotta sleep. I mean, if you can do with less, that's great. But in any case, yeah, it will be best if you do start to clear out again, unnecessary tasks and kind of like pointless, if you will, tasks, and unnecessary resources that you are wasting into. But you should not be stopped and intimidated, okay? Just because at the start you find it a bit difficult to work out the reason why you should invest one thing into another. You shouldn't give up on that you have to invest into something. Oh, thank you guys. All right, so moving on, next we do have Taurus, and let me shuffle for it. All right, for Taurus, we do have the Moon card, followed by the Six of Swords. Moving on next, that is going to be Judgment. That is going to be a big Taurus 13 days. I mean, they're going to be big for you guys. Afterwards, we do have the Two of Wands. And finally, that is going to be the Knights of Cups. It's pretty much great. It shows, actually, this reading shows that your efforts are, if you want to say, finally gonna pay off here with those 5 cards. And at the end of the day, in fact, I would hate it if I was Taurus, because it's gonna turn out at the end of the day that you actually did more than you were expected to do, right, in order to get your breakthrough, if you will. But it is exactly what we're talking about here, guys. It's a breakthrough. And in fact, the sole reason that we do have the Six of Swords into the second position of the spread, which is right over here, that card pretty much shows that the results are going to flabbergast you. In fact, they could grow so rapid that you may kind of like find yourself being a bit scared how fast the situation is starting to resolve for you. And because we do have the Moon card at the start of the reading, this is your environment, and the Moon card, while great, it's showing that you are finally set on a right path here. All right, it does also show that you are not going to have any control over it. So it's going to be like a snowball effect that is going to start rolling for you, which is setting you for a certain destination that you are meant to be into that destination. So don't get surprised, for example, if you just cannot deny a certain offer, or if you just cannot deny a certain person that wants you to get out with them, or to date with them, and so on and so forth. It is just something that you don't get to choose to do. None of us, if we do have these cards, does so. But I don't think that you are going to try to resist it in any way, because with the Two of Wands into the fourth position, I'm sorry, of the spread, it pretty much shows that it's something you have a certain accomplishment for. So it's not without its merit, so to speak. It isn't coming out of nowhere. And having the Judgment into the third position of this reading for you, Taurus, it pretty much shows that this is coming up in the most convenient time. Now think about it, for example, if you had been laid off recently from work and you are trying to find yourself a job, and you are preparing your portfolio and your CV very meticulously, very thoroughly, that's a work you are doing. You are making accomplishments out there, and you are kind of like spreading it everywhere and hoping that a couple of businesses are gonna call you, and suddenly everybody is calling, and it is quite overwhelming, and you get yourself being scared which choice to make, which company to go for, right? But this is what I mean, that it could kind of like escalate pretty quickly here into snowball, but it is something we don't have a control over. However, having the Judgment, I'm sorry, into the third position, it pretty much means that something is going to stand out, right? Something is going to be far more shiny and appealing than anything else, and that is exactly what you, Taurus, should pretty much go for here. And with the final, whether for a relationship, whether for a business, you know, whether even for a friendship, and with the Knights of Cups pretty much into the last position, that is a pretty much guarantee that if you give efforts, they are going to be paid off. So as if we relate that to the collective reading, what you should not give up from, well, you shouldn't give up from a just because you don't have a control over it and it is happening faster than you would like it to happen. That doesn't mean that it's going to pretty much fall apart. And to me, that's a big lesson for you guys. Just go with the flow, right? Just go with it and have a trust into that. Sometimes things are just as they are, you know. Sometimes a dinner is just a dinner. It doesn't have to end up with sex or anything. Sometimes a good opportunity is just a good opportunity, and you gotta go with it. Hey Anna, welcome to the stream. All right, so next one we do have Gemini. I don't know, Taco. It could be money for you, mate. Yeah, if that's what you're hoping for, why not? All right. So for Gemini, the first card is going to be the Star card, followed by the second card of the Eight of Cups. Moving on next, that is going to be the Nine of Pentacles, followed by the Ten of Cups. And the final one, we do have the Hermit. Is Canada capable to do that? I'm just kidding, because Pisces Moonbeam is from Canada, you know, and that's just a teasing, but thank you, Zap. Much love from Bulgaria. All right. Anna, you're just on time because you are Gemini. And what's, if we go with the collective, what Gemini should not give up from? Hope. Okay. But hope, not like hope to get better, but hope that the things are gonna get done, so to speak. Here for what we do have into these cards. In fact, guys, Gemini, right now, in the next 13 days, if you are planning to do something big, it doesn't look like that you're gonna get any better time anytime soon. And the lesson that you need to learn within the next 13 days is pretty much to count your blessings and just do whatever it's presented for you to do, whether into your career or whether into your relationship. And just so to give you an impression what you can expect from either of these two, in whichever you do have a an opportunity to move forward, well, you can expect into your career that the business that you are going to dealing with, whether tasks, whether projects, whether clients, and so on and so forth, things are going to be pretty easy on you. I mean, there aren't going to be any obstacles, there aren't going to be any plights, so to speak, any setbacks, and they are going to unfold in a way that your criterias and your standards are pretty much dictating. So you can expect to sign up a perfect contract. You can expect, you know, to have a development that pretty much falls within your expectations, and you can expect as well to see the future. What I mean is to build up a futuristic plan instead of hoping that things are gonna be good on a day-to-day basis. Now, in terms of relationships, though, what you can expect undeniably here, should that be something you are dealing with in the next 13 days, and unfolding love, something that starts small, like an interest, a mere interest, but it starts to grow, and before you know it, you start missing each other, like there is no tomorrow. The thing is that something is about to happen to you, Gemini, and it will be one of the most substantial and essential things you have recently experienced. And according to these cards, you definitely should see it as a blessing rather than as an affliction, because of course it's going to have its setbacks, right? It's like a coin. You get the heads, you get the tails, but it is important that you do focus on the heads rather than on the tail. For the next 13 days, you need to see it for what it is rather than for what it isn't. And by doing so, you are setting yourself off a really not just only interesting, not just only important, but also a lovely adventure. So that was for Gemini. Now moving next, we do have Cancer. Hey, Pisces Moonbeam, you made it. I hope that everything is going okay with you. Shows up you are a special Canadian then. Just kidding, guys. All right, so for Cancer, first one, we do have the Queen of Cups. Moving on next, that is going to be the Seven of Pentacles. It's kind of understandable, but afterwards we do have the Three of Cups. Moving on next, that is going to be the Four of Pentacles. And the final card for you, Cancer, we do have the Hermit as well. So the Hermit again. So you are the light bringer, eh? You know that is what Lucifer means. It means the bringer of light. That's besides the point. I said or made the right gesture of, it is because of the first two cards, guys, for you, Cancer, these. Okay, so we do have the Queen of Cups with the Seven of Pentacles. That was just the jokes up. Of course you aren't. You are here after all, right? It is because they breed oh my god, what was the English word? Indecisiveness. They do breed indecisiveness. Pretty much within the next 13 days, everything that you pretty much encounter, it will be you are going to be very skeptical about it. This isn't about not knowing should you do it or not. It is just you ain't gonna be sure, you know, does it worth your time, or kind of like, I don't know even how to explain it. It's just the hesitation isn't because you are gonna lose something. The hesitation is going to be because, you know, it may not be interesting to you anymore, or it's kind of like something that doesn't bring any consequences from it. Okay, it's very difficult to describe it here, and that is going to be not a good posture, right? That isn't going to be something that you are going to benefit from being hesitant. Like, for example, saying maybe. You either say no or you say yes. Do not say maybe into the next 13 days, because that way you are leaving that situation to hang into the void, and it's going to haunt you, all right? Hound you, I'm sorry. So if someone, for example, asks you out and that's a person that you don't want to share time with, just say no. There is no need for you to postpone that no, right? or if someone asks you out and you really want to go out with them, just say yes. There is no need to be skeptical about it. There is no need to think that you are being beguiled into something, right? Because into the next 13 days, you're also going to have something very substantial happening to you here, guys. But that is more advanced, or rather like a more foreseeable than what happens with Gemini. For Gemini, it happens out of nowhere. While for you, these substantial results, they are forming based on your settlement, right? That is something you nurtured, that is something you caressed, that is something you cared for, that is something you built. And now, within the next 13 days, it solidifies, it consolidates. Think it that way. You opened business 2 years ago, and it was constant struggle to bring that business on the map, and finally you are wrapping it up into the next 13 days, and you are consolidating. But basically, into the next 13 days, guys, you are going to establish a certain and secure future for what you find important, essential, and substantial for yourself. And what I love about you, and not just only about you, but also that is valid for Gemini as well, it is that within the next 13 days, rather than approaching things, you know, emotionally, recklessly, hastily, for example, or even being inactive whatsoever, you are going to address your situations with wisdom and intelligence, okay? Instead of I don't know if that's valid for Gemini, but for Cancer, their emotions could get better of them, and that's not going to be the case within the next 13 weeks. Not just because we do have the Queen of Cups at the prime of your reading, which pretty much kind of like can endure those overwhelming emotions, but also because we do have the Hermit into the final position, which is the gift from the universe, how the universe helps you guys. And that is one of the properties of the Hermit is wisdom and intelligence. Anna, thank you so much for your 20 US dollars. And also Liz, thank you for your 20 US dollars as well. Thank you, guys. Make sure that you both stick around up until the end of the live stream, where you're gonna get your personalized readings for the new moon into Virgo for that particular period of time. And now we are actually entering into the first break. And within that break, like I explained, one of you is going to get a free reading from me, and all that you gotta do is just input a question that you want me to read for, and I will pick one of the questions if there are more than one, if there are any questions at all, and I'm going to perform a professional reading on it. For that purpose, I'm giving you 5 minutes to input your questions if you do have any questions, and if there are no questions, I'm just going to move to the next 4 star signs. Your ego knows its place. All right, that's a good thing, because sometimes, well, most of the time, ego, it's getting you more into trouble than actually. Do you know what I hate of the ego? It presents you in can I put it into words? Pretty much it presents you in an indomitable light. What I mean is that people that under normal circumstances, in a casual way, you would have a great relationship with. These people are intimidated and afraid to approach you or to talk with you and so on. Well, light worker, that's a good question, but I would ask you, if they are ignoring you, why aren't you ignoring them either? I mean, why aren't you moving on? Because even if I tell you why, if that person doesn't want to talk with you, doesn't want to have anything to do with you, that ain't gonna change just because I tell you why they are ignoring you. And my point here, a light worker, is that there is no benefit from knowing the answer, okay? Just none. And the sheer fact that you are ignored should be enough to put a closure on it. By the way, guys, because I am listening to an audiobook right now, and it was that word that kind of like it was coming very frequently out, and the word is wry, right? It's like a wry look, it's like a wry smile, it's like a wry kind of like fixing her dress, and so on and so forth. And it's kind of like I don't know what it is, right? I just don't know what it is, and I can't find it. And I asked Pisces Moonbeam about it, and she just couldn't figure out either. I think it's not the common word. I never heard it before, okay? Never. And it was such a stupid scene, right? Today I was talking something with my mom, and while I was talking, Siri actually activated and said "awry," and it means being detached from whatever. I said, "Awry? What if I remove the A?" And it is a word, W-R-Y, rye. It means, hold on a second. It means twisted into an expression of disgust, disappointment, or annoyance. And in the book is used for the latter, which is the annoyance, which is for a rather, how can I put it into words? Neutral scenes, so you can't figure out what it is. If it is a neutral scene, you just don't know what it's meant for. So yeah, it was it's just how, you know, how luck played out here and actually found, or the universe found that word for me. It's kind of amazing. At least to me it was amazing. All right. So with that said, we do have, I've been working on healing over the past few months. Is anything still blocking me from finding a loving relationship? I want to make one comment on, hold on a second though, because I mixed the advert cards with the real cards. Robin, I do have one comment before I go for the reading here. Love isn't found, love is made. Okay, you make love rather than finding it. There is always someone you can make love with, all right? It's all up to how keen you are into doing it. Sue, I don't know. I don't know, because I don't like men, right? But for what I know from men from another countries, I know that almost every woman, it's a woman they like. Everybody says the Bulgarian women are one of the most beautiful women that they have seen on a average basis. Or of course, somewhere into the world, you are gonna find the most beautiful girl or a woman being not a Bulgarian one, for example, but on an average basis. It's just everywhere you turn your head around, it's everywhere beautiful women, all right? So I hope that men are like that as well, but I don't know. JT, thank you so much for 1999. Thank you, JT. Make sure that you do stick around up until the end, where you're gonna get your personalized reading for the transit. You are gonna be surprised, Charlie, because good look is not enough, mate. I find out probably the hard way. I found out that the hard way. The biggest trait that you need in order to get women is to be that is my personal opinion. All right, the biggest trait to get women is to be willing to give up your freedom. That's just my personal opinion. All right, Robin. The first one is the Page of Wands for you. Uh, Second one, it is the Ace of Pentacles. And the final one, that is the Page of Cups. And this is where the real issue lies, Robin. I don't know what you are trying to heal from, but according to these two cards, whenever an opportunity for you to make love, once again, because you cannot find love, you make it, to make love shows up, you just can't see its future, right? You just cannot see working out. Why? Well, I can only speculate here why. With the Page of Wands and the Page of Cups, it is just there is no, you know, when something kind of like happens into your life, you do have a kind of like something like an eagerness. You are looking forward for it. You are ready to work for it. You don't, and especially if something exciting, you're willing to look past the irritating details, and that is something that stops you. You cannot look past these irritating details. Someone asks you out, right, on a date, you go out with that person trying to give them a chance, and they say the tiniest thing that they say that you don't like, that's an immediate red flag. That doesn't have to be, right? So yeah, that is something that is pretty much the blockage as far as these cards are showing. Other than that, you should be open for anything new, but you aren't. And with the Page of Pentacles, with the Ace of Pentacles being there, that next to the Page of Wands, that either shows up that you want a type of relationship you had, you want it the same way, maybe with a different person, or you want that person to come back into your life again. You just need you just want a second chance. That is something that can happen, but not in initial stages. Right, initial stages, you just gotta go with the premises that it's a different person, therefore it's gonna be a different kind of relationship, like a different environment of a relationship, not a different kind. Well, Sue, good looking is very different in the eyes of different people, okay? I know many women, and I was shocked several years ago to find out that there are women liking men with bellies. It's just there was that really, I liked the woman. It was very beautiful, and she liked men who does have fat and they do have a belly, and so on and so forth, you know. And it's just whenever she saw these highly trained, shredded guys, she just was unimpressed. She just didn't like that kind of physique, right? So there are different types of, the beauty is very relative. This is what I am trying to say. No, you don't lock us in a cage, but you do demand. You all women demand. It's either gonna be your way or eventually the highway. So that's not a freedom. Chandra, thank you so much for your 1999. Thank you, Chandra. And just make sure that you do stick around up until the end, where you're gonna get your personalized reading for the new moon into Virgo. You're welcome, Robin. I hope it helped. All right, guys, this was the first free reading giveaway. There are going to be two more. One is going to come after Scorpio, and another one is going to come up after Pisces. Now, a couple of minutes, and I'm going to move to the next two star signs. Just to remind you that the booking, the booking period for the Lenormand Legrand Tableau and as well monthly readings for the month of September. It's almost over. It's gonna end at the end of Sunday. For the monthly reading, if you go for it, you can expect to have a 9-card spread delivered to you by the start of September, in which spread you're gonna get your career, your finances, and as well your love life throughout the month of September. And the Grand Tableau, well, it shows what it shows. You don't have control over it, but it's a 36 card, a big wide spread showing up events that are gonna happen to you in the future. Well, I am rising Aquarius Zap, and I know what you are talking about. Because if you want to be with someone, the things you do for them, you do not consider them like, can I put it into words? You consider them something you want to do. So actually, this isn't taking away your freedom. But for the most part, it is just, you know, that's the sad part. In my line of work, I'm talking with a lot of people with relationship difficulties, and everything boils down to dominance. One wants to dominate over the other and wants to make them do things that the other one doesn't want to make. Why? All right, guys. Next one is gonna be Virgo. I never knew what that expression means. That sentence, "it's in the eye of the beholder," is like, it's anyone's guess, I believe. It does, but let's not say 90, but a good 60% of relationships are like that, unfortunately. One dominates over the other. That's how it is. Mm, it stems from many things, JT. Some people does it because they believe that compromise it is what is needed. You know, it stems from different understanding what love and what relationship is. You know, some people it sometimes it stems out of a true beliefs, a good beliefs that that person can change, and I am the one who can help her or him to change. Right now they drink extensively and they beat me down to death, but they can change for as long as I don't leave them, right? And that's at least to me that's a wrong mindset. I mean, people don't change. Not when they can change if they're teenagers, right? But if they are from 30s from above, something very drastic needs to happen so they can change. And you feeding up, you know, their comfort ain't gonna change them. I do private reading, Aquarius Star Child. Yes, you can check them out, my services and the prices into my website, and you can find it into the description down below. So no, it's not Virgo actually, it's Leo. Oh my God, it's Leo. Well, if you say so. It's Leo, guys. I'm sorry. So the first card for Leo, that is going to be the Seven of Swords, followed by the second card of the Nine of Swords here. Moving on next, that is going to be Justice, followed by the Queen of Wands, and the final one, that is going to be the Six of Cups. It does, Aquarius. It does take ages. I studied for 3 years, 6 hours a day before I grow confident enough to start doing it for a living. Okay, doing it for a hobby, it's one thing. Doing it for a living, it's another. But yeah, it's like it's, I don't want to say university degree, but it is like a college degree, definitely. I mean, if you want to know it from top to bottom. Right, so back to Leo. It's gonna be a tense week for you guys. It's a tense week because it will feel like there is a lot of at stake there. It will feel like you have a chance to do what's, let's not say what you have ever wanted, but what you have wanted for a very long time, but also that if you do it, okay, you are going to lose something in return, and that comes from these two cards here, the Nine of Swords and the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords, it is your environment, okay? That shows that the time has come for your agenda to start manifesting, for your agenda to really kick in. But the Nine of Swords sitting there into the second position shows that you are going to be very afraid of what consequences that can bring, you know. So if you start a certain job, you may not have time for your family, and therefore your marriage is going to get on the rocks, and eventually you are going to get divorced. It's just your mind is going to run very, very wild, and before you know it, you may find yourself kind of like believing into the doom and gloom, right? That you are pretty much in shackles and you are not allowed to do anything better for yourself, which is wrong here, because all that you need is actually, in order to see past it, so to speak, is to kick in with your astute discernment. Breathe in, sleep on it. Okay, you don't have to make your choice right away. You do have 13 days to decide, do you want to go forward with your agenda or not, one way or another. But within the next 13 days, you need to know that whatever the circumstances are obstructing you or depriving you, berefting you, if you want to say it that way, to do what you want, to follow your own dream, so to speak. Next 13 days are the days where you gotta make a stand for it. Okay, if you don't make it in the next 13 days, I don't know when you are again gonna have the chance to do so. What you need to learn, Leo, and I think that that's a very easy lesson for you, it is that whatever the odds, you have the will to prevail. It's just you do have that sheer will to make it happen, to make it work. And one other thing that it kind of can make you more cunning, I believe is the word that I should use here. So more cunning than usual is that you will see that you actually know people better than they think you know them. And that will give you an edge with a lot of negotiating situations. That is going to give you an edge in a lot of, how can I put it into words, if you will, a task separation, like spreading the tasks in a way that you know someone is going to do better than others, and so on and so on and so forth. But truth told, guys, according to these cards, Leo, in the next 13 days, guys, you gotta attend to things that gives you pleasure rather than things that you find annoying and aggravating. Okay, and those aspects that you do find being pleasant to you, whether people that you feel pleasant, whether undertakings that you kind of feel pleasant, they sometimes doesn't correlate with you know, with your agenda, or rather like with the agenda of the overall, but they do correlate with your agenda. And that is where you gotta make your stand. That's something you want to do, and this time around you're doing it. And if the person that, for example, that is just for example, and if the other person threatens you that they're going to leave you for it, well, then they are not your person. Okay, that is some kind of a countermeasure that you can come up with. Okay. Also, it's a great week to get paid, or a great couple of weeks to get paid. What I mean is that if you have been lied, for example, you did a job and you haven't get paid for it, it's a great period where you should kind of like seek your money from it with all the necessary means, or rather like with all available means. Especially if you reach court, you need to know that the adjudication is going to be the rightful one, because that's a very common that's a very common mistake. I have seen it many times. Okay, people in YouTube and also in other tarot readings that are not performed by me, people were asking, for example, well, I do have that court case, and is it going to be adjudicated in my favor? And the reader draws the justice card and says yes, which is wrong. No. The justice card doesn't guarantee that it's going to be adjudicated for your favor. It guarantees that it's going to be the rightful adjudication. Okay, that justice is going to be served. But if you are in the wrongdoing and you are trying to exonerate yourself, then no, I mean, you are going to not be acquitted whatsoever. Okay. If you are looking for a card, it's going to be the Six of Wands that is going to give you the positive answer to it. Like, yes, it's going to be in your favor, regardless if you are guilty or not. But justice, it is when the justice is served, whether it's served for you or at you, that's another story. I haven't done Aquarius yet, no. All right, so that concludes Leo. Now moving on, next we do have Virgo this time around. I am in Bulgaria, Aquarius star child. It is. Well, Zap Tarot ain't joke, right? I do know that many people buy cards, they read the keywords at the tiny book that comes with the cards, and they say, I am a tarot reader now, you know. I know that the sun is happiness, so there you go. I know that the Fool is a new beginning, so that's what I'm gonna say. And someone asked them, for example, well, how is my job gonna turn out? And they draw the sun card and they say you're going to be happy at it. That's a great answer, right? Or they start making up things. You won't believe what things I heard to being made up from. Tarot, it's like it's a language, right? It's a language. Tarot examines the path of thy soul. It doesn't concern the path of the body, and therefore you cannot say for certain if things are going to happen. The only way you can examine it if things are going to happen, if you do try to see how that person is going to feel at the end of one thing or another. Okay, and tarot is a language because it speaks through symbols. For example, the dog at the Fool card, many people will say that that's a symbol of loyalty, but it isn't. It's a symbol of civilization, because dogs are animals of the civilization. There are no wild dogs. Well, there are. Actually, it's an African wild dog, only one breed, but that's just as much dog as a guinea pig. It's actually a pig, okay? Because it's neither a guinea nor it's a pig. The creature is neither a guinea nor it's a pig, but it's whatever. I hope I made my point across. And then you have, for example, the wand that the Fool is carrying. Well, that's a personal symbol of his power, because none other card has that wand. And then you do have the bag on the wand, and that bag, it symbolizes that he doesn't carry anything from the past, right? For example, if the Fool, it symbolizes a new relationship, it means that it's going to be nothing alike the previous ones, all of them that you had, and so on and so forth. But I am digressing here. That's a good thing. Yeah, Zap, you don't need a talent. It's a knowledge. So that's the last thing I'm going to say before I move to Virgo. Look, guys, Tarot divides to major and minor arcana, and arcana means knowledge. It means nothing else, right? So it's just it's a knowledge that you need to learn. That's all. You don't need a talent, you don't need a skill, you need to learn it. It's like learning to speak, it's like learning to read. You don't need a talent to learn to read. To learn to read sentences, to learn to read books. You just need to learn to do it. That's all it takes. All right, Virgo, first one, that is going to be the Seven of Pentacles, followed by the Empress. Moving on, next we do have the Queen of Cups, followed by the Five of Wands, and the final one, that is going to be the Emperor for Virgo here. So for Virgo, the week is going to be a bit discomforting, okay? Because Virgo are going to feel an urgency. They're going to feel an urgency to do something about their stuff while they totally don't have to. According to these cards, it's a very short reading for Virgo, by the way. According to these cards, they say that everything is under control, guys, even if it doesn't seem so whatsoever. And it's just what you need to learn within the next 13 days here. It is to, how can I put it into words? Well, it's a kind of tough lesson. With the five of swords, it is when in that particular follow-up, guys, it is when you know your limits. Okay, you know your, not just only your limits, but limits in a certain situations, and that is something you need to trust into. Okay, you know that, for example, that thing cannot go worse than it is right now, and that's something you need to trust, even if you do have a sense of emergency that you need to alter something, or you do know that you have limited certain situation and that situation has nowhere to go, but you still have that sense of emergency to change something in it while you totally don't have to. Okay, so it's very important that within the next 13 days you really take it easy, because we do have the Empress into the second position, and that shows that you are in a, how can I put it into words, in a vulnerable position to make wrong choices. And when I say wrong choices, I mean very wrong choices, like things that you will not gonna be able to, or choices that you ain't gonna be able to recover for a very long time. And while, yeah, you feel at least at the time being, you're gonna feel like it's not even pleasant, more like a positive experience that you did something about it, it's gonna be the bitterest victory you ever made, all right, or you ever accomplished, so to speak. Have you heard the expression a pirate victory, or pirate victory, or whatever you call it? That's a king. It's not a pirate like, you know, a sea pirate or something. It's pirate. That's his true name. Pirate victory. That is when, you know, he won a war by annihilating his half of the population of the country. It is like same victory was the last victory of Napoleon, okay, into the village of Borodino, Russia, where he won the battle on an expense of I think half of his army, and then he couldn't do anything else. So that's pretty much what we're talking about here. Know your limits. Don't overinvest. Don't throw your resources, and have trust into your previous efforts that you have established control into one thing or another, because otherwise you may make a hasty choices which may cost you your relationship if you do have such. They may cost you your friendships, they may cost you even your job, because doing those choices, I can guarantee you that doing those wrong choices, Virgo, that will make you look one of the most unreliable people, especially when it comes to your career. And that is pretty much your reading for the next 13 days. So what you shouldn't give up on, the belief in yourself. That's pretty much what you shouldn't keep on, what you should not forget, so to speak, give up on. All right, moving on. Next, we do have Libra. First one for Libra, we do have the Six of Cups, followed by the Knight of Cups. Moving on next, that is going to be the Knight of Wands for Libra, followed by the fourth card of the Eight of Pentacles. And the final one for you guys, that is going to be the Sun card. It's such a chill transit that we do have in front of you. It's actually, I don't have much to say to you, Libra, aside from that. Have fun, guys. It's all that it is down to within the next 13 days here, okay? And just do things which you do find very, very interesting for you. You are interested into, for example, hiking something, which I do not recommend. I really hate hiking. It's many things can go wrong, but if that's your thing and you do find it interesting, just by all means, right? Or you found recently an interest to learn astrology, for example, do it. You found interest to, I don't know, to sign up for a certain class, just do it. Whatever you do find being interesting and that you do want to try it out, next 13 days, great time to, it's not even starting something new, it's like feeding up a passion of yours, so to speak, because next 13 days are very important that you do boost your creative expression, and as well, if you do will, your personal expression here, because what boils down to for you, Libra, it is that you position yourself in such a way that you don't have to work smart, guys. You don't have to work hard, I'm sorry, but instead you do have to work smart. And there is a saying in my country, I don't know if you do have it in English, United States, or in Australia, or in United Kingdom, but we say, if you do work what you love, you ain't gonna work a single day in your life, because what you're doing for living is actually something you would want to do either way, whether for money or not, right? And that way, what you are gonna learn within the next 13 days is that, whatever you have planned for so long, we're talking here, what I do suspect it is, we're talking here starting to transitioning into hobby, into a certain business. It could be a small one, it could be something that you're gonna do for living full time, but either way, it's kind of like growing it up. And it's just the lesson, like I said, it is that whatever you are into, it's pretty much time to be manifested, and it's gonna work out for you flawlessly, because the supporting energies here, as the Sun card stand, it is that is gonna be natural development. It is what the card says is just that there is no way it's not gonna work if it is something you are happy with. Okay, so that's pretty much for Libra. And how moving on next, we do have Scorpio. Judgment, it is the first one, followed by the Hermit. Moving on next, we do have the High Priestess. It is the Page of Cups. And the final one, that is going to be Seven of Cups. That Hermit into the last one, into the second position, which is the real issue with the whole spread. One second, guys. Basically, what is going on here is that what we thought is pretty much, well, and that's not even the case, because that this experience could pretty much relate to almost everything. So this is how it stands for Scorpio. There are constantly things we are giving up from, right? I mean, we may be giving up from friendships or from opportunities, from people, love opportunities, and so on and so forth. But in the past, let's say, few weeks or maybe even several months, we gave up on a thing that we thought it's our thing. It has to work out this time around, okay? But it didn't back in the days, and we gave up on it. Well, it's gonna work out this time around, okay? It's gonna show up again, and it's gonna pretty much work out. It's gonna show up under a different circumstances, or rather like with a different attitude, so to speak. It's gonna be under a different environment, under different circumstances, and it's gonna work out this time around. If I have to speculate, we are talking about a romantic experience, like, fixing up your marriage, or finding love, or consolidating one, and so on and so forth. If I have to speculate with it, if that was a personal reading and someone was asking me, what is going on in my personal life, I would tell them right away that, things are gonna happen with a person that it didn't happen back in the days. It could be, that didn't happen back in high school, and now you do have a chance 20 years later, again, this time around, to have it. Your high school sweetheart, that things didn't work out. Now they will. So yeah, it's going to be a huge turning point for a Scorpio within the next 13 days, that we definitely have a chance to manifest our emotional development. That is why I think that is going to be mostly about romance, romantic situations, love, relationships. It could relate to career, and if it does relate to career, then those cards are speaking that our career is going to start shifting for the better, okay? But it's going to take time. It's not going to be over a night. And within the next 13 days, the most that is going to happen is that we are going to see that actually our career does make sense, and that our career path is going to be there to stay, and no one can take it away from us. And that's pretty much for Scorpio. Now the second break is taking place. And within this break, once again, one of you guys is going to have a free reading from me. All that you're gonna do to take that free reading is just input a question into the comments down below, and in about 5 minutes I'm gonna pick a question if there is a question submitted, and I'm going to perform a professional reading on that question. If there are no questions, I'm just gonna move to the last 4 star signs, which are going to be Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and finally Pisces. And after that, the super chat readings are going to take place. Anyone who supports the channel and the stream through super chat, you guys are going to get a reading at the end of the stream. That's pretty much given. And should you have no inquiry with the super chat, the reading is going to be your personal experience through the next 13 days, which is the duration of the new moon into Virgo. But should your super chat be $20 or above, the reading is going to be it's going to be a 5-card spread, the very same one I'm doing for the star signs here. Hello, Queen Aquirich. Yeah, I am quite well. I don't know for the rest of us here, but I can speak for myself, and yes, I am very, very well. Aquarius star child, you do have a fortune-telling dreams. That's very interesting. I know that these things does exist. Okay, I'm not gonna tell how I know that, but I do know that that exists. That's my personal belief. So you are fortunate to know these. Hey Sean, welcome to the stream, mate. Oh, well, I've that's something you do want to do, by all means, Tracy. What do you mean, Sean? Ready for the weekend? I am ready for the weekend, yeah. Well, Queen Aquarich, I suggest you to seek help elsewhere, because I can't help you in any way. Whatever I tell you, this is not gonna improve his condition. I'm sorry. Uh, First thing, I am not a psychologist, okay, so I'm not qualified to talk about it. But I have dealt with quite a few cases like that. And what I find why people do it is because they lack the sense of support. It is like for them, it feels that there is nothing to live for, or they feel like there is no way out. In either case, should they have a support, like they know that no matter what, you do have someone beside you and you can face whatever is standing in front of you with that person, and it gets easier on them. But again, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not qualified for it. Oh, there is a way, Sean. I mean, if you mean with tarot, yes, there is a way. You can check if they tell you everything, you know, how you're going to feel. And that way, You will know if it is a good and bad, because the tarot is going to show how you're going to feel. You may feel disappointed, disgusted, you may feel happy, you know. Based on how you're going to feel, you will know is that good or bad for you. Uh, so will my paper work will um, oh, that's your break question. I already picked another one because the time was up. So will my paper work gonna be taken well, or is gonna work out well? Whispers Healing asks. Oh no, no worries, Sean. It's there is a delay, and that's why these are the cards for you. Well, I would say it that way, Whispers of Healing. If your paperwork doesn't do well, then it is reviewed by the wrong person, from the wrong company, or from the wrong association. Because I don't think that you are going to be, how can I put it into words, eager when you hear the feedback. But as far as these cards are showing, you did a great job doing that paperwork. So the only thing I think of it is that it's not evaluated properly from, or it's not going to be evaluated properly from the people that are gonna review it. Okay, so again, don't give up on making it work, even if it is not from those that you filed it for. Well, Sean, you can pretty much wait for the last break, which is going to be after Pisces, and then you can try again. Okay, guys, couple of minutes, and after that, I'm going to move to the last four star signs, which are going to be Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and finally Pisces. All right, Tracy, that's a smart move. Hey, Ozai, welcome to the stream. But yeah, that's a I'm not going to talk about it, actually. That's not the place to talk about it. Do I have a strong Scorpio placement? Yes, I do. I do have a stellium there. Actually, that all my planets are in Scorpio and in Sagittarius. All of my planets, actually not all. I do have one in Libra, and which I don't remember which one was it. And then I do have, hold on a second. I think I can bring that here. My chart, that is. I do have Mars in Libra. Mars is in Libra, and then I do have Jupiter, which is in Aquarius, and Aquarius is my rising sign. Everything else is in Scorpio and in Sagittarius. In fact, Venus and Pluto are on top of each other. Okay, they're literally on top of each other, and the Sun, of course, it's pretty much there. What is that sign? I think that my North Node is also retrograde, but maybe I'm not talking straight. By the way, in astrology, there is something called a signature sign. Let me see where it is. My signature sign is also Scorpio. So yeah, I am very strong Scorpio. I mean, oh, Whisper, what you are answering to people, that's entirely up to you. I mean, well, many people are not with signature sign. What I know about it, because you actually have to calculate it. There is no software that is showing the signature sign. You gotta do it manually. All right. If people know it, they just don't bother doing it. But what signature sign is, it does shows your second nature. That is when you are thrown off balance. That is when, you know, you are set into a abnormal situation for yourself. For example, if you are arrested, right? You are not arrested every day. You don't know how you are going to react on a stressful situation, and this is where signature sign comes in, right? Where you are in a unorthodox, or rather, how can I put it into words, unusual situation. That is what the signature sign is showing up. Well, it's the signature sign. Hold on a second. The signature sign is calculated by how many, where are your planets, you know, and in what elements they are. For example, I do have a 4 water elements into 5 fixed signs, so that makes it a water fixed sign. And then there is only one water fixed sign, which is Scorpio, right? So that is how it's calculated. So I do have 5 planets in fixed signs, 2 planets in cardinal signs, and 3 planets in mutable signs, right? And then elements, I do have 3 fire elements, 1 earth element, 2 air elements, and 4 water elements. And that makes 4 as a minority of a water, 5 as a majority, of water, 5 as a majority of a fixed. That makes it a water fixed. That's and there is only one sign that corresponds to that, which is a Scorpio. That is how it's calculated. I hope it makes sense. Well, maybe so. Here we know it as a signature sign. Yeah, could be. All right, guys, we digressed enough. Moving on next, we do have Sagittarius. No, I'm not medium. Aquarius star child. I am not a medium. I don't talk with ghosts. I don't have any visions. Okay, I don't speak with the stars or with any kind of entities. I just interpret tarot cards. That's all I do. So yeah, I have, and I have four. Oh, a second. Well, Jen, yeah, hopefully we will. All right, Sagittarius, the world is the first one for you guys, followed by Seven of Pentacles. Moving on next, we do have the Four of Swords. Afterwards, this is going to be the Empress. And the final one, that is going to be the Knight of Swords. So it's a fantastic time for Sagittarius, actually. I'm pretty happy with it because someone asked me, am I pronounced or strong Scorpio? Yes, I am, but I am even more pronounced Sagittarius because I do have even more planets into Sagittarius rather than Scorpio. So Sagittarius reading applies to me heavily. I'm moon in Sagittarius as well, and it's going to be a great time for Sagittarius. I'm very, very happy for it. It's a conclusion time, guys. It's a finalization time. It's over pretty much. So for Sagittarius, how can I put it into words? The word that you so much toiled over, it's pretty much over, and it breeds results. The information you sought for, right? The approval you are seeking, and so on and so forth. Whatever you're after, it's coming to an end, or rather like to a closure within the next 13 days. And for as far as these cards are showing here, you will make your peace with it. So the very least is going to be a normal result. And when I say make your peace with it, it's not like moving on. It's more like being comfortable with it. Okay, so the very least is going to be a casual result rather than having no result whatsoever or having a disastrous result from it. Okay, and if you are wondering what I am talking about, well, according to these cards, they refer to a endeavor that you are now, as you are entering Sagittarius into the new moon, into Virgo period, that is it really worth it pushing even further with it? Okay, so it's something you have doubts about. Well, according to these cards, yes, it's pretty much worth it. And you will see as you do enter from tomorrow morning moving forward, it is that whatever concerns you do have over it, for example, is it worth fighting for that marriage or for that relationship? Is it worth trying to nail that job, and so on and so forth? So you will see within the next 13 days that whatever concerns you do have about it, that you are gonna face certain predicaments, problems, etc., that these concerns are going to vaporize. They are going to literally disappear, and that is going to set your mind into ease and is going to allow you to do what you do best, scoring things around. And one last thing, because it's a very, very simple reading for Sagittarius, is pretty much you are approaching a culmination of things, you know, the grand accomplishment here. And another thing it is that the truth is going to be revealed at the end of the day. So you gotta put your your composure rather, or you gotta be ready to hear certain information that is gonna come to you, but it's not going to be like a shocking one. It's pretty much something you have anticipated, right? And for the most part, you had prepared yourself for it, but this information will allow you to make now a definitive, informative decision that probably you hesitated before these 13 days actually are kicking in. And probably that piece of an information is going to be the missing piece of the puzzle, in which, you know, once you now have it, you will be able to call that enterprise or endeavor pretty much wrapped up or in the bag, that it is the culmination. And one last thing for you guys, Sagittarius, this isn't where life is ending, all right? What I mean, it is that yes, you completed this task, now it's time for you, or this cycle of your life, and now it's time for you to think for a new one. So it will be beneficial for you within the next 13 days to think about some kind of a new perspective, new hobby, new business, you know, or new type of a scenery, so to speak. Why is it? Of course that you do have your moon in Cancer. All right, so that was for Sagittarius. Now moving on, next we do have Capricorn. Right, so the first one for Capricorn, that is going to be the Page of Pentacles. Moving on next, we do have the Five of Pentacles, followed by the Tower. Afterwards, that is going to be the Four of Pentacles. And the final one, that is going to be the Four of Cups. Oh, that's a bit baffling. What does this Tower means? It's a delay. It's a delay. Or, you know, many of you are going to consider it as your undoing. You know, there are times where you say that impression over my dead body, or I will be damned if I do that. Well, I guess it's happening. because it's not gonna be that unthinkable any longer. And this is what I said, a delay. You know, every single one of us have some kind of a goal, right? You do want that job, or you do want to be with that person. There are conditions that comes with it. You got to do something at the job, or you got to do something to earn that job, or you got to do something to be with that person. You got to put up with certain stuff, and you say, over my dead body, I'm never gonna agree to that. Or you do say, well, I will be damned if I ever do this. Well, it's pretty much your cognitive, how can I put it into words? Your cognitive understanding of the surrounding tells you that you want it. That's something you gotta do, right? This is something you gotta accept. You didn't want it up until now. Well, I guess in the next 13 days, it's what's happening. Okay, that little by little, or maybe all of a sudden, who knows, you will accept these new ways. And the worst thing you can do, though, is thinking that this is spoiling you. It's spoiling who you are. It's tainting your personality, right? It doesn't. It's a growth. It's a transformation, as the tower shows. Long story short, as your life progresses within the next 13 days, which is going to refer to already started endeavor. We're not talking about something new here, okay? This endeavor is going to prove itself to have bigger and bigger value. So it's gonna, every single, or how can I put it into words? You are going to see it worthing more and more every single hour. Okay, this isn't going to be in a matter of, by the end of these 13 days, you say, no, I do apologize. You kind of like say, yeah, it's okay. No, this is every single hour you get yourself even more convinced that it's now acceptable. And by you doing so, you are going to consolidate this enterprise, so to speak. And if nothing else, guys, at the end of the day, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? If you do want certain accomplishments to start falling, or kind of like to start rolling. And that's pretty much what your reading refers to. One other thing here, which is shown by the Four of Cups, it is that by entering into these next 13 days, you may not see how this is possibly gonna happen. Well, that is the mysterious ways of the Four of Cups. It is that the opportunity to make a difference, to make that transformation, comes up. Well, it's not out of nowhere. It comes up from a predictable place. It's just in a very, it's barely, all right, it's like barely showing up, and you gotta seize it. You gotta have the decisiveness and the readiness to jump into action in order to seize that opportunity. One more specific thing about these 5 cards, it is that within the next 13 days, should you be single, a friendship may grow into a romantic relationship, and that is the transformation. And you may kind of like have these it's not doubts, I don't know the English word about it, but it is like you are gonna question it. Is that really a right thing to do? At the end of the day, that person was my friend. Is that ethical to be done? Well, it is. I mean, like I said somewhere previously into the live stream, love isn't found, it's made. Okay, you make love, you don't find it. Karen, thank you so much for your twice as $3 US, one for me and one for Pisces Moonbeam. Thank you, Karen. Make sure, well, I will make sure to stick around up until the end of the live stream to hear my reading. Pisces Moonbeam is going to be around as well, or she's gonna hear it afterwards. All right. Yeah. So moving on next, we do have Aquarius. Oops. Aquarius. Right, first card for Aquarius, we do have the 10 of Wands. Moving on next, we do have the 2 of Wands, followed by the 6 of Wands. Afterwards, that is going to be the Hierophant. And the final one for Aquarius, that is going to be the Star card. It's going to be great for Aquarius, man. It's going to be really, really good. It's almost like Aries now that I think of, because I said for Aries it's like it's gonna has its snowball effect, and here that's true as well, but with a much better, how can I put it into words, with much better tangible results within the week, or within the next 13 days, that is. And for us, I'm saying us because I am rising Aquarius as well. This is gonna feel right. While for Aries, I'm making a comparison because it's a very, they are very close, or rather like very similar experiences. For Aries, it's gonna feel like a challenge, right? It's gonna feel like something that needs conquest. While for us, it's gonna feel right. It's gonna feel that that's what we worked for and it's manifesting. There is one discouraging fact according to these cards, and this is that next 13 days is as far as it can go, at least for a while. Okay, it doesn't have to be for a lifetime, but at least for a while. For example, if you guys score some kind of a development in your job, well, that's pretty much it according to that development. You cannot hope that this is going to be a milestone, because it's not. It's pretty much the finished product, and that's what you have to deal with. Okay, my point here, it is that within the next 13 days, the development that you are going to see, it's exactly as it is. If you do have some kind of like a complicated schemes or a back thoughts that you can use it for something different, you won't be able to. We do have the 2 of Wands into the second position, which means that what you are to accomplish within the next 2 weeks, which is 13 days, you won't be able to build on top of it. Okay, so the job you're gonna find ain't gonna help you to do something different than do your job. All right, the relationship you are gonna start ain't gonna help you to do anything different but to make love, for example. And I'm saying that because, you know, there are these people that are marrying for the money rather than for the person. Okay, and if that's regarding them, well, they have made the wrong bets, because that person ain't gonna give them any money. Okay, well, they were going to give them just enough to get by, but not as much as they would hoped that is going to give them to. All right, so that's another thing. What it means is that within the next 2 weeks for Aquarius, things are going to work as they are meant to, not as they are supposed to. These are two different things, but on a more positive note, for what we do have here, we are bound to be rewarded for our efforts one way or the other, and whatever those rewards are, we should enjoy them within the next couple of weeks. And finally, for Aquarius, it seems that the whole future is going to open in front of us. So it's not going to be unlikely that we are going to start making plans for a different enterprises, not for the one that it is settling within the next 13 days, but for kind of a different enterprises that we will be able to indulge with on a later stages. So that was for Aquarius, and now moving on, next we do have Pisces. The Emperor is the first one for Pisces. Moving on, next we do have the Queen of Wands, followed by the Five of Wands. Moving on, next for Pisces, it's the Three of Swords, and the final one, that's gonna be the King of Swords. Well, first of all, it comes a warning, okay? It comes a warning, and for you, Pisces, and that is that you don't know people that well. What I mean, it is that people only show what they're capable of with their back against the wall, okay? And if you haven't saw a person that has their back against the wall, you do not know them as well as you think they know them. So you can be surprised by someone's behavior, choice making, and as well attitude within the next couple of weeks. And it will be best advised, okay, if you do not, how can I put it into words, unless you absolutely have to, you do not rely on people within the next 13 days. There are going to be a lot of turnarounds happening to you and your environment. Most of them are going to be for a great outcome, and you do want to have a, how can I put it into words, you must ensure that you are the person who decides how one thing is going to be settled, how one thing is going to be taken advantage of, rather than having a partner and having to consult what you should do. Another thing that I need to warn you about, it's your, I don't know if should I say ego or being cocky. You may underestimate situations, okay? And doing so, it can have a devastating results in a sense of you know, babies, they try something, for example, they try to walk first time, and if they aren't supported, they usually fall down at the ground. Actually, my cousin, when she was a baby, she did that, and then 2 weeks she was afraid to stand on her feet when she was 1 year old. And that's basically what happens. You get overconfident, you fail, and you are afraid to try again if you do that, okay? So it's very important within the next couple of weeks to tread very, very carefully. Other than these two things, it seems that for the most part here, you will build up reliability. What I mean is that people are going to find you being very reliable, very consistent, very structured, and as well people are going to see you as the safe bet and as well as the person for the job, despite of whether you are overconfident or not. It's just what they're going to see. Also, your acute sense, or rather like astute sense, I'm sorry, of managing crisis is going to be pretty much on point, and therefore even if you are overconfident and you fail, you are going to make such a flawless damage control here. I mean, basically it will have no consequences almost no consequences whatsoever, negative that is. So you will be able to face the ups and downs of your 2-day routine in the best possible way. Okay, and also what you can expect it is to have more time for yourself as well, to do whatever you like with it. The universe is gonna help you with or rather like what the energies are. It is that whenever an issue ensues, you will almost always gonna have the answer. For example, a problem into your work shows up, something that you gotta solve, you're immediately gonna have the strategy for it. You will know what you gotta do. You will know how can I put it, or you may not know it right away, but through careful analysis you always gonna be able to basically present a plan, to present a strategy, to present a solution that is gonna be pretty effective. Don't be afraid to show it. All right, guys, so that concludes the Pisces reading. And now the last free reading is going to take place, and after that the super chat readings are going to take place. So if you do want a free reading, now is the time to ask your question, and in about 5 minutes I'm going to pick one of the questions and I'm going to perform a professional reading on that question. And that's just a personal thought. Now that I'm seeing myself here on camera, it's not like I don't have any mirrors, it's just I don't use them that much. I gotta do a haircut very, very soon. Oh, you're welcome, Sean. I'm glad that it covered it. If you are good, I'm good as well. 3 minutes, guys, and after that the free reading time is over, and I'm gonna move to the super chat. Anyone who supports the stream and me, and of course Pisces Moonbeam as well, through super chat, you're gonna get a reading at the end. That's pretty much given. And should your super chat be $20 or above, you're going to get that very same 5-card spread reading, unless you don't have any specific inquiry. If you do have a specific inquiry, it's going to be a spread that it is best suited for the line of question that you are giving. Things with what, Sherry? How things that's with what? Thank you, Karen, for another $3 US. Mwah. Make sure that you do stick around a little bit longer, where you're gonna get your personalized reading for the transit. Are you gonna answer, Sherry? Because you are asking how will things go from here with. Oh, okay. So with your education, all right. Sherry, I want to address your issue, your question. I'm going to take the JT question though. And I'm going to do so because the thing about how things are going to go with your education, it is that it's going to have its moments. Okay. What I mean is that I may tell you that it's gonna go great, but that could be that is gonna be overall, right? Or that is gonna be good. That's gonna be overall. That doesn't mean that it's not gonna have its fall moments. Okay, that is why, because the end of the day, the experience you're gonna have there is gonna be mixed, no matter what I tell you, because that's just how education goes. There are things you find interesting and you study well, you do understand them. There are things that you don't understand and you don't want to know, but they are required. It's just, I was in the university, I know how it is, all right? It's just there were things that I just didn't care about. I don't want to know them. I'm never going to apply them into anything. Like, for example, physics. Mechanics, it's one thing. Physics, it's completely different. Waves and magnetic fields, I don't care about that. I want to work on mechanisms. That's what I'm studying for. I don't give a dime about magnetic fields, but you got to know them. And physics, by the way, that was the most difficult exam I ever took. That is, when I was studying for it, I felt the pain right here on the top of my head. This is how much I studied for it, and I barely passed. That was the physics and the resistance of the material are the most difficult exams that the university I studied for, Technical University of Sofia, uh, are the most difficult exams there. And actually, resistance of the materials with ease, I didn't even study it before it because it was something interesting, and I just consumed it. All right, whenever I had a lecture or an exercise into it, I just consumed the information and I understood it because it's something I enjoyed doing and enjoyed understanding it. So it's gonna have its ups and downs. But physics, it's the worst thing ever. It's pretty much uh, there are things you would like into physics and there are things you ain't gonna give a dime about it, but it's just something you gotta know, right? Or something you gotta memorize. That's the problem with it. You memorize it for the time being, for the exam, and after that, if you ask me about magnetic fields right now, the only thing I can tell you it is that they are created from electricity, okay? Or a spin. Well, it's again electricity. It's electromagnetic fields. We call them magnetic field, but actually, well, there are also magnetic fields created by materials from a different means, but primarily from electricity, and that's about it. Okay. So so if the means of your education, Sherry, is something that you would like to do, then by all means you are going to have a great time. For example, if you are studying for a programming and you love programming, yeah, there are going to be a bullshit kind of like disciplines that you will have to study, like semi conducting materials. I don't know why uh, you know uh, you guys have to study them, or you will have a electricity as well, kind of like electrical technique, or I don't know how to call it into English. Basically, you're going to study how the electrical impulses are going through the hardware. That's you don't care about. All that you want to do is do code, right? But the university doesn't give a dime. They are going to teach you into it as well. It's like you're never going to use it, but they're going to teach you anyway. Or this is at least how it's done here. So JT, you are on a first date Thursday. How will it go? Let's check it out. City scan. Well, there are going to be definitely things about that that you ain't gonna find appealing, but it is a part of the job, right? I do. Zap, my accent is all around the world because I talk with many people from different places and just, catch it. You're welcome, Deborah. Great one. We do have the Hangman for you, JT, with the Wheel of Fortune, and then it is the Two of Cups. These three cards. Well, definitely it's not going to be the perfect night, okay? But actually you're going to have that strange experience there to open up. So basically, while the night is not going to be perfect, if not any, let's say it that way, JT, if not anything else, you at least are going to make a good friend from that person. But I don't think that from that date that you are asking about, you will make a choice, yes, I want to be with him, or not at that stage. It is going to be in your book another date, okay? And that's about it. But like I said, the very least, you're going to make a good friend from that person, because once again, you're going to feel like there is no kind of like blockages. Like you can talk about everything with him, you can express everything with him, you can how can I put it into words, you can be, if you are to cry, you will know that, or kind of like you will feel like you can cry in front of that person without being mocked about it, or criticized about it, and so on. It just is going to feel like you know each other for a very, very long time. Well, Zap, these live streams, they are regular, so you're welcome to hang out here anytime you wish. So JT, it's gonna be a win-win situation. But just because, for example, if you don't like the guy right away, don't conclude that things are not going to work out in between you two. It is just this, can I put it into words, this date that you are going to go to, it is just a date that to establish some kind of a line, all right? Don't make your conclusion, yes, things are going to work out, or no, things are not going to work out. We do have the Hangman as the prime, and that's a moment where you don't do anything. okay, or you do not presume anything whatsoever. All right, so with that said, that concludes the free reading as well. And now a couple of minutes and I'm going to jump to the super chat readings, guys. So I'm glad you have it amazing. You're welcome, JT. And yeah, good luck. Right, so I'm gonna do mine first because it's a different. It's gonna be a different system than Tarot. Then Pisces Moonbeams, Cairns, and then I'm gonna move to the $20 super chats. Sherry, thank you so much for your $20 as well. Thank you, Sherry. Make sure that you do stick around a little bit longer where you're going to get your personalized reading for the transit as well. Yours, it's coming right after Chandra's one. Right. Let me check what do I have here. Come on, next 13 days. What should I prepare myself for? What is the freaking event? Wow. Right. Those are the cards. We do have the heart, which afterwards that is going to be star with the clouds, final one. It's the letter. That's a love invitation, guys. I'm so curious to see who is going to be. But that's a love invitation, basically. Someone is going to invite me into being her, hopefully not his though, but her girlfriend. Oh, no girlfriend, boyfriend. Hopefully it's because I'm not into man. It's not someone inviting me to be their boyfriend or a girlfriend, like a man, because that's going to be definitely no. But that's what those cards are showing here. It is that, yeah, I will have such a proposal. So, very curious to see who this is going to be. All right, let me shuffle. Yeah. Say the cards are showing that I'm gonna have that invitation. Doesn't they don't show that it's gonna happen. I can say no. You can always say no. All right, Pisces Moonbeam card. For the next 13 days, Pisces Moonbeam, you do have the King of Cups. And pretty much that card shows that you are going to receive some kind of proposal that you will find it very difficult to deny it. Literally, there is no reason for you to do so. And also the card shows that the next 13 days, you should address your situation in a professional manner. Karen, your card for the next 13 days, that is going to be the Four of Pentacles, Karen. And that card pretty much shows that, well, the very least, you are going to build yourself in a comfortable place, or rather like in a comfortable state. And also the card is showing that you will be able to establish certainty. So if there is something that you are trying to develop, right? The next 13 days are going to be pivotal that you do establish its certain future, or rather like the certainty of it in your future. For example, a payrolls. It's if you are trying to establish a payrolls for yourself next 13 days, you may most likely you are going to get a chance to do so, for example, or you are trying to establish some kind of a visitation schedule, I don't know, whatever it is. Four of Pentacles pretty much shows that you will build up a certain future for yourself, whatever your intentions are. No, that was a Karen, that was a lapsus that I said that someone is gonna ask me to be their girlfriend. All right, that was an what I meant. It is that I will receive a proposal, someone to be my girlfriend. You know, a girl to be my girlfriend, but I just it's kind of like my tongue wrapped itself around. So most likely it's gonna be a woman. Right, it doesn't have to be with masculine energy at all. These cards doesn't show energy; they show pretty much events. Okay, so it was just it was a lapsus. Lapsus, it's a term used that you say something that you don't mean. That's a lapsus. All right, so next one is gonna be Ella. What experience I'm going to have if I travel with Claudio? That way, Ella, you will decide is it worth traveling or not. Well, I'm always prepared for the worst, Karen, and pretty much what can happen is one of these scams, right? Because they are everywhere here. I don't know about in the United States, but they are literally everywhere here. Just I don't know how they find my contacts in Facebook, but I have these Asian girls that they always want to be my girlfriends, and you know they're asking me to go into Telegram, whatever that is. It's kind of like a new platform that I never heard of, and that we're gonna hook there, and suddenly they're gonna ask me for money. I assume I never catched on that one, but you will surprised how often I get these proposals from these scams. It's like when you see their picture, they look like dolls. I mean, come on. And that girl found me out of nowhere and wants to be my, my wife. Don't know me. All right, Ella. It's gonna be a great travel. Okay, it's definitely is gonna be a great travel. We do have these three cards. By the way, Ella, if it doesn't work out this time around, this isn't going to be kind of like a drop-off thing. I mean, if something comes in a way that this traveling cannot happen, for example, the border closes because of a new wave of the pandemic, etc., etc., that is going to be something on the back of of thy mind. So whenever that predicament is no longer there, Claudio is going to approach you with the same proposal. And yes, the traveling is going to be great. I mean, there you can expect to improve your relationship if that's what you are hoping to have. The experience also is going to be very, very pleasant there. Having that Queen of Swords although shows that you may I don't want to say lose control, but let me try to explain what I mean. You may kind of like go there with the intentions to be rough, right? To show Claudio that he cannot boss around with you and these kind of stuff. But once you go there, it is kind of like you're gonna melt. It's like whatever aims of personality and composure to show is going to be washed away, because the experience is going to be very pleasant and you just won't be able to be mean. Okay, you just won't be able to be mean. Is it worth going? I would say yes, it is worth going there, if for nothing else for the experience itself, but you can expect a lot of harmonious emotions, consolidation of thy relationship, improvement of thy relationship, and one of the few chances you are going to have if you do want to be back with Claudio at all. All right, next one, we do have Taco. So yeah, if you ask me, I think that you should go, but at the end of the day, it's your call. You have the scams on the Facebook page? Yeah. The scammers are everywhere. Not just only on the Facebook page. Yeah, so I don't get that excited, Kieran. I mean, yeah, it's a love proposal, but it could be from anyone. It could be even a prank, right? It could be even a prank. And this is what I mean, guys, with the Lenormand cards. That's why they ain't a walk in the park. This isn't something to take it as a trifle. Because yes, you do get to know your future with them, but you do not get to understand it. And that may make, yeah, and it always happens, all right? Even if you try to go against it, it always happens. And it just, it can give you a lot of hope, as well as a lot of what is the opposite, the despair that it doesn't have to be there. Okay, all right, Taco, the first card for you, mates, we do have the Ten of Cups, followed by the Page of Pentacles. Moving on next, that is going to be the Strength card, followed by the Queen of Wands. And the final one for you, Taco, that is going to be the Three of Pentacles. First of all, the cards shows that you are in a good hands, okay? Because I know your situation right now and I am relating them to your situation. You are in a good hands right now. And also, these cards are showing that within the next 13 days, you will see that not just only for your medical condition, but overall, it is that as things are developing, they're developing exactly in the best way, in the best case scenario for you, for better or for worse, and that you do actually have a lot of blessings to count on. I don't believe that you are in such a situation, but if you have lost a hope into life, right, you don't see any meaning to move forward with your life, that meaning is going to be either slowly, progressively, or all of a sudden return to you in a certain way. Now we do have the Page of Pentacles into the second position, and that card shows that you may get yourself over invested into the wrong thing. Okay, like being, and when I say over invested, I don't mean like monetary over invested, but like over committed into the wrong thing. And by the wrong thing, I mean the thing that doesn't want to budge into the next couple of weeks. So one of the biggest messages for you, it is that if it doesn't want to work out with this with a slight push, just don't push it any longer. Because someone told me once, if you're gonna push it, it's gonna be a shade, and that's literally how things are turning out for you. If you really try to push it within the next couple of weeks, things should happen with ease for you. Or how can I put it into words? Things which are worth it, they are happening with ease. For example, because I know that you are leading, I don't know if you are leading them anymore, but I know that you are having conversations with your father about certain things, okay? If he doesn't want to talk about it, don't push it, okay? Leave it for after a month or a couple of months, okay? And also, whatever help you need, I think that the universe is gonna bring it to you. And when I say help in your particular case, I do not mean help like someone is gonna come and physically help you. I more mean like a support. Society is gonna support you, organization are going to support you, allies, you know, connections, and so on and so forth. And also there you can expect that to be how can I put it into words, your eyes to be open as well, in a sense of that you will have these fruitful conversations that people pretty much are going to tell you how things are done if you do not know how to do them whatsoever. And that's pretty much it. Your behavior, and how can I put it into words, not your performance, but like knowing your place is going to be pretty much spot on into the next 13 days. All right, that was your message. And now moving on, next we do have Mattia. All right, first one for you, Mattia, the Emperor. Oh, hello, Angela. Good to see you around. I almost thought you gave up on me, not showing up. All right, next one, that is going to be the Sun for you, Mattia. Followed by the Two of Wands. Moving on next, that is going to be the Two of Pentacles. And the final one, that is going to be the Seven of Wands. All right, Mattia. So this relates very well when it comes to work, okay? And job and business. And basically goes like that. Business, it's about making money. It's not about making friends. So what those cards are showing, it is that if you are gonna try to make everyone happy, you ain't gonna be happy, or the business is not gonna be happy. What you are trying to build, it's not gonna work out at all. So next 13 days, Mattia, you gotta show yourself being strong and having what it takes to do what it's needed to be done, no matter if someone's gonna like it or not gonna like it. It's simple as that. You can't be friends with everyone. That's one thing. Another thing about those cards for you, Mattia, is that next 13 days are definitely where you should, unlike tackle, for example, push really, really hard, because it seems that it is at the time where you should take advantage of your current accomplishments, okay, and build on top of pretty much those accomplishments. But also it's a time where to strategize. I don't know how to put it into words. It is where you're gonna learn that it's a clash in between the old ways and the new ways. For example, the old ways, it is where you work with people and everybody is happy, but no major product or no major results are accomplished. And now the new ways need to come is business is a business and a price is a price. There are no negotiations. If you do not spend money into the business, you are costing money to the business. That's the simple truth about the business, right? And so, yeah, I mean, a client may not be happy, but a price, it's a price. And if they don't want to spend the money, if they don't want to pay the price, they should not occupy your time. That's just for an example, right? But it is just a process in the next 13 days where the old ways are going to give up on the new ways, or in other words, you are going to learn that certain understandings, certain plans, and even if you will, certain ideas, I don't know how to put it into words, convictions of yourself are outdated, and they need to be replaced with new ones which are more aligned to the current situation and the current status of yours. Other than that, it seems that you are gonna finish that cycle here by the look of those cards with much more to be proud of than what you are entering into it. That's how those cards are showing. My point here is that if someone is disgruntled by your actions and by what you said, that shouldn't bother you that much, because at the end of the day, you are to make progress rather than to pay for someone else's progress. Have a great one, Whispers. Being busy, Angela. Well, busy is good. Busy means money, right? Right, next one, we do have Anna. All right, Anna, first one, it is the Nine of Swords, followed by the Nine of Pentacles. Moving on next, we do have the Strength. Afterwards, it is Judgment. And the final one, that's going to be the Ace of Pentacles. It's not going to be one of the best experiences you ever had, Anna. It's just within the next well, actually it could play out in a two ways that I can think of right now. One can be that you will see that you have no time to waste, and if you are to do something, it has to be right now, right? Like a extreme sense of emergency building up in you. The other way, it is that you're just seeing things falling apart, not knowing what to do. Either of those are wrong, okay? You shouldn't, can I put it into words? You shouldn't jump into neither of them. For example, if you do have that feeling that things are falling apart and you're going to lose your business, you're going to lose your whatever, okay? You shouldn't jump into a hasty actions or hasty choices. Same thing with the sense of emergency. You have that sense of emergency built in that now you gotta do it. You also should not jump into a fast conclusions. It's just you will have that enthusiasm which is going to be the leading part. So you do things out because you have the eagerness to do it, not because you do have the anxiety to counteract them. That's how you should move forward within the next 13 days. Because what the cards are showing, it is that you are going to have either way a way through or a way out. If things are you have the impression that things are falling apart, even if that's the case, you're going to have that opportunity to reverse it. If things are having a sense of emergency because you are eager to, not eager, but you are feeling oppressed, that it is either now or never, the way through it, or rather like the way to seize that opportunity, is going to be also gifted to you one way or the other. And again, you should act in the next couple of weeks because you are feeling enthusiastic about it, not because you are feeling anxious that you are going to lose it. That is how things are showing up here. Here for you. And one advice according to the cards, Anna, challenge yourself. It's like undertake an endeavor that you know you can do it, but it's going to be challenging at the end of the day, so you can lift the bar of your performance and your expectations. Okay, that's pretty much how it stands. One thing, if you are afraid that you are going to lose your job, that you're going to lose your house, for example, your business, these are just fears. It doesn't look like that is going to happen, at least not in the next 13 days. All right, moving on next, we do have Liz. Oh, you're welcome, Pisces Moonbeam. King of Swords, it's the first one for you, Liz, followed by the King of Cups. Afterwards, it is the Three of Wands, the Two of Cups, Five of Pentacles. That's a warning. Okay, it's a warning, and it says that you should go with what you know to be true. What I mean is that within the next 13 days, Liz, what's gonna come up to you, it's some kind of a proposal, okay, or some kind of an opportunity that you are proposed of, some kind of an offer that you will find it too good to be true. And that's what you must go with, that you what you know to be true. If you know it is too good to be true, then it's too good to be true. Aside from that, next 13 days are problem solving days. I don't know if you do have many problems or just small ones, you know, you do have trifles. In any case, you will analyze your issues, your difficulties, or your problems, and you will create plans for each one of them that are going to be very, very effective plans, to a point where by the end of these 13 days, you should find yourself actually establishing a rather solid patterns, establishing rather solid foundations for yourself, for your love life, for your business, whatever the case. And you will learn to, and I don't know if you are a party person or not, but you will learn to enjoy a quiet and peaceful environment. Whether for your business or whether for your friendship or romantic life, or what those cards here are showing. I don't know how to put it into words, but you are gonna find intimacy into being peaceful. if that pretty much makes sense to you. And what the universe is gonna gift you, or what are the energies which are supporting you within the next 13 days, it's that the circumstances around you are gonna show you how to change, or what things you need to change into your lifestyle so you can have a better life. Now, should you change them or not? That depends entirely on you. According to these cards, if you are eager to change them, but you find it that you are well, same as me, so you're gonna learn to love it even more. But my point here is that if you want to change those things but you can't find the way how to, right, it seems that within the next 13 days you will be able to find that way, like making a solid strategy that is going to be very, very effective. One last thing, talking about romance, what all that those cards are showing, it is that you are going to figure out or learn that, yeah, love is a great thing, but when it's shared, not at all costs. Right? That's all that those cards are showing here for you. So even if you are single, for example, Liz, if up until this point that was your problem, that you are single, even if you do remain single after these 13 days, it's not going to be a problem anymore. All right, next one, we do have JT. First one for you, JT, that is going to be Temperance. For you, welcome, Liz. Followed by the 10 of Pentacles. Moving on, next, we do have the Hierophant. Afterwards, it is the 8 of Pentacles. And the final one, is the Knight of Wands. JT, I don't have much to tell you aside from that everything is going to work out for you. Okay, that's pretty much how the cards are setting themselves up here. Now the only, it's not even negative, more like a unpleasant thing that can happen to you, it is that you gotta enter into some kind of strings that are attached. For example, if you wanna make the thing work out, you gotta side with that person, or you gotta promise this, and so on and so forth. You know, there is gonna be a small string attached, but nothing more than that, Jen. It's not like gonna be a big deal for what it seems here. And even if the string it's too big at the start, it seems that you are gonna be able to mitigate the impact afterwards. What I mean is that you are gonna reach the desired results with a fairly casual, let's put it that way, or mild, well, not mild, but acceptable, let's put it that way, to fairly acceptable efforts, whether those efforts are through negotiation, through personal performance, and so on and so forth. And what is advisable for you to do according to these cards within the next couple of weeks? If we're talking about a job, if you are finding yourself working, or you are especially working, looking for work, the job should be something you want to do, that you do not concern yourself with how much you are paid at the end of the day. All that you should concern yourself with is that you are doing what you always wanted to do. While if we're talking about romantic, and especially if you are looking for love, What those cards are advising you is that love is actually something, like I said, you make, and it's made out of trust and reliability. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much you love someone, if you can't trust that person, you just can't be together. That's a fact. Okay, it's not going to be a good relationship, and eventually you're gonna split. And the universe, JT, is gonna gift you with very interesting things to do. I mean, you can expect that the next 13 days are gonna be very enterprising for you, and you just gotta take your pick. Okay, that's the hardest thing for you to do, is to take your pick. So you gotta be very decisive into what you wanna do. Chandra, by the way, Jen, thank you so much for your 9.99. Make sure that you do stick around a little bit longer, where you're gonna get a personalized reading for the transit for you. But next one, we do have Chandra. Seven of Swords for you, Chandra. Hold on a second. So we do have the Seven of Swords for you, followed by Judgment. Moving on next, Six of Wands. Afterwards, it is the Queen of Cups. And the final one, that's going to be the Page of Wands. So, Chandra, it's a pretty sound message, in fact. You know, there are those situations where you try something out, right? And it doesn't work out, and you say to yourself, well, it wasn't meant to be. Well, there is no such thing, at least not within the next 13 days. You want something, you fight for it. I mean, you wage a war if you have to, if you really want it. These cards are showing that anything is possible. The question is how much you are willing to sacrifice for it. Because at the end of the day, you can either make a sacrifice or suffer a loss. One is that you make a choice, the other is when that choice had been made for you. So the whole question is, are you going to allow someone to make a choice instead of you? Or are you willing to storm the situation, make your stand, show a strong backbone, show that you are not gonna cave under any circumstances, and enforce your will? Either way is going to work for you, but you need to remember, Chandra, that you are going to be recognized for what you do. Therefore, if you show yourself as a strong person that's never budging, it never caves, that's going to be great. But if you do cave, then you are going to be recognized as a weakling, and both things are going to be rewarded appropriately. Okay, it's a pretty simple message. What impression you're going to make in the next 13 days is going to be there to stay for a very long time. So make sure you do make the impression you want to make. And as far as the universe and what the universe is going to gift you, well, the universe is going to gift you some kind of a new experiences. And under new experiences, I mean experiences you almost never had before. You may have heard of them, but you never experienced them up until this point. It's going to be a unique, how can I put it into words, a unique, unique experiences, and also some good news is going to come your way as well. And the last thing that I'm going to say here, Chandra, for you, it is that you have a lot of things to back you up. Experience, results, allies, use them. Okay, use all of them. And if you do need help, don't be shy or embarrassed, because some people are embarrassed to ask for help, and I don't see the reason behind it. But if you are one of those people, you should not feel embarrassed to ask for help. You're welcome, Cheryl. All right, next one, Sherry. First one for you, Sherry, Two of Wands. Moving on next, that's going to be the Nine of Wands, followed by the Hangman. Afterwards, it is the Two of Swords. And then it is the Knight of Swords. So that's pretty much, I believe it answers your education according to these cards. They show that whatever had been started, it could not refer to your education. It could refer to something different. But what the cards are showing is that whatever had been started, it was worth it and is going to produce results. Whatever you have started, you should not stop there but improve on it. So that's why I think it's about your education. And at the end of the day, we do have the Knight of Swords, which is the gift of the universe, and that is the power to understand, the power to extract the vital information from what you have to work with, if you will. And that's pretty much what the cards are showing up here. What comes as a unpleasant experience, because there are always unpleasant experience within the next 13 days, are a couple of things. Now, the first one, it is that you may think that you can align with things. You do not align with things, or rather, like, you do not align things to you, you align with things. Okay, so you do not align your schedule based on your liking, you align your liking with the schedule. That's something that is going to take place within the next couple of weeks. And also that you may kind of like hook up with the wrong person or the wrong people and find out about it and be a little bit disappointed afterwards. Okay, especially if you really like the person. But what you are going to learn is that, you should never judge the product by its cover before actually trying it. Okay, so whether you are gonna make one choice or another, I think that you are going to delay that until you have all of the information or all of the circumstances which are going to manifest within the next 13 days. It may refer to that Chandra, but I think it's about something more specific than just, mundane commodities that your work is given to you, right? I think it's about something more personal within the next 13 days, because it regards to your own personal agenda. It could be related to your work. It could be that you want to enforce certain standard, and it's faced with mockery, it's faced with skepticism, and you make your stand. But it's something more personal than just dealing on daily basis with people with big ego. And finally, we do have Jen as well. So let's check on your experience for the new moon in Virgo. So the first card for you, Jen, that is going to be the Knight of Swords, and the second card for you, you're welcome, Sherry. The second card is going to be the Four of Wands. So Jen, according to these cards, you will find the courage and as well the tenacity to bring it home. Right, what those cards are talking about here, it is that you are going to complete some kind of a cycles. This is like establishing, for example, foundation, or completing a stage, so to speak, in doing so by addressing and as well manifesting every important detail of it. So in other words, in the next 13 days, you are going to do the job that had been given to you, and you are going to do it well. You know, you will behave the way that you are supposed to, and you will do it well, and so on and so forth. Just whatever you are standing against, you will find the courage or the necessary strength or whatever to push through it if it is something difficult for you to pretty much handle. And as well, you will find yourself being a little bit more cunning than usual. So you may come up with some kind of strategies that they are gonna be quite beneficial for you, but not that beneficial for those that are involved with you. And one last thing before I wrap it up for you, Jen, it is that it's can I put it into words? It's a time for you to step into the next level, and you will scope the moments within the moment for that within the next 13 days. Whatever you toiled so much to manifest, it will be manifested. So with that said, this is gonna do it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for sticking around, and as well, thank you so much for your generosity. We're going to see each other very, very soon, and up until then, bye.